all for this Gita Mastery Course session. So please kindly confirm whether I am audible and visible. Thank you, Bhavin. So today is a very important session. We are getting into the last part of chapter 9. And I'd like to inform you that today's session may extend a little beyond 9. And this is also one of my favorite sections from Bhagavad Gita. Very, very important. Lot of important verses are there. And I hope we'll have an exciting journey today going through all these verses spoken with so much of affection by the Supreme Lord. So before we get into the session, let's begin with chanting the Mangala Charan. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhamritamsha Shri Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे नमो ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिधि नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे मूकं करोति वाचालं भङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम्
Hare Krishna and welcome to all of you for this last session of the third trimester.
Last session of the third trimester.
Completing chapter number 9, and with that we will be completing half of the Bhagavad Gita. And before we do that, here is the quiz based on the last session. So read it carefully and mark the correct answers. So those of you who have completed, kindly mark your attendance. We have shared the attendance link in the chat window. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. What is the destination of those who do not accept Krishna's human or personal form? So we discussed in the last section that they assume demoniac and atheistic nature.
And yay, most of you got it right. Question 2. Those who take shelter of Krishna are guided by his divine energy. And that is the right answer.
Fools and impersonal.
Actually, they are protected by his divine energy. So the question should have been, those who take shelter of Krishna are protected by his divine energy. And that is the right question. And then second option is the right answer to that.
Fools and impersonalists know Krishna's real nature. Of course not.
Question 4. Accepts the universal form as supreme is the best among those who worship Krishna indirectly by cultivating knowledge. So quite a few of you got that option right. So those of you not, please, this is the answer. The question was, among these three categories, which is the best? So all of the above is not a possible answer. We have to choose one of the three of the above.
There is no hope for those who disrespect Krishna's form. Yes, of course, there is no hope for them. True.
Question 6. What is the meaning of Drid Vrataha? And the answer is endeavoring with great determination. So again, this question is about just that word, Drid Vrata. So that's why the correct answer is option 3.
Mahatmas are those who don't depend on karma or jnana, exclusively centered on the Supreme Lord, serves an association of devotees. So Mahatmas have the quality all of the above.
Question 8. Why people don't worship Krishna who has great powers? Well, they don't know Krishna's real nature and they consider Krishna as an ordinary person. So the correct answer is option C or both. So I hope many of you would have got at least 80% in this 8 questions. At least 6 you would have got correct.
And here we are proceeding with the chapter number 9. We were in the third section. We were discussing about who neglects bhakti. So we have already covered till verse number 21. And we would proceed from there. Let's see what all has already happened in the last session. So verse number 11, why do people not worship you who have such great power? That answers that why people do not worship Krishna.
And then we have, what is the destination of those who do not accept your supremacy in the human form? And then the verse 13, we saw those who respect you and they were called as the Mahatmas. those who worship Krishna's human-like form, and they are under the protection of the divine energy. And what do they do? What do they? How do they perform their worship? That is in verse number 14. Satatam kirtayanto mam. So they always chant Krishna's glory anyway with great determination.
And then verse number 15, we discussed about three kinds of jnanis. So these were the devotees who were jnanis before, who are attached to that process of jnana yoga. So how do they worship Krishna? So they worship Krishna in three different ways we discussed in the last session. So one way was worshipping Krishna in his universal form. Second way was that they worship Krishna indirectly through the demigods. And third was that they worship themselves because they think that they can merge and become one with Krishna. So that was the third one, and we discussed that how the third one is the most dangerous. And then verse number 16 to 19, we discussed the vision of those who see Krishna in universal form.
And then verse number 20, those who perform material piety attain heaven. And 21, those who attain heaven, then what happens? They come back after they have exhausted the piety and they have enjoyed equivalent in the heavenly planets. They've enjoyed equivalent to the piety. Then they come back to this planet and they again engage in doing the piety. So back to square one. They do not really go anywhere.
So now getting into the very, very interesting section, the last section or the last portion or last 12 verses of chapter number 9, which talks about the devotional service or the process of bhakti yoga. Here it is. Ananyaschintayanto mam ye jana parayupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. Ananyaschintayanto mam. Ananyas means without any desire, with exclusive devotion. Chintayanto mam, those who meditate upon Krishna, those who worship Krishna with no other object, they concentrate only on the Supreme Lord. That is how they worship Krishna, and they are always fixed in Krishna's devotion. Nitya, they are constantly fixed in devotion. So Krishna is talking about such people and what Krishna do for such people. So it says, but those who always worship me with exclusive devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, to them, first Krishna says to them, I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have. So that is the wonderful, amazing Supreme Lord that he is saying that he personally provides for his devotees, for his Ananya devotee, or for those devotees who worship Krishna only. So many of us from our childhood, we have been worshipping so many personalities along with Krishna, but Krishna is talking that this particular result is available only for those people who worship Krishna alone, who understand that Krishna alone is the object of all my devotion. It is not that he is disrespectful towards others, but his focus, his mind, his devotion is completely attached to Krishna. So that person who with exclusive devotion worship Krishna, to him Krishna provides everything. Krishna says, I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have. So whatever is missing in their life, he provides, and whatever they already have, Krishna protects. So these are the two things which Krishna does for such people. So this verse, we can split it into two parts. The first part is about the devotees. So what is the expectation from these devotees? Like, what do they do or what they don't do? So what they do is, one is...
What makes them so special?
Yes.
That Krishna is saying that I will maintain them, I will carry whatever their needs.
So first is parayupasate, they properly worship Krishna. Now why it is mentioned properly worship Krishna? Because we will see in the following verse, Krishna would talk about avidhi purvakam also, that improper worship. So here it is mentioned that they are properly worshipping Krishna, and to worship Krishna properly, the thing what is required is ananyash, or always fixed in exclusive devotion of Krishna. So mind does not get distracted by any other thing. They are exclusively, like they are in exclusive relationship with Krishna. And then they are always well versed in knowledge of Krishna. Nitya Abhiyukta Nam. So always they have complete knowledge of Krishna. Knowledge of Krishna not necessarily means that they know all the philosophy, but they understand that Krishna is all in all. Krishna is my provider. Krishna is my master. Krishna is everything. So that knowledge, and with that knowledge, they do chintayanta, or they meditate on Krishna. So they meditate on Krishna, they worship Krishna with exclusive devotion, they acquire knowledge about Krishna, and they desire Krishna's association or association of the devotees of the Lord. So this is what such devotees do. And the second slide here, it talks about what does the devotees don't do. So these devotees, there is a do's list and this is don't list. That one, they do not desire for any type of sense gratification. So all their activities, including what they speak or what they think. So at a mental level, at an action level, at a physical level, that level, everything is dedicated to serve Krishna. They have no desire for their own sense gratification, and they do not give Lord the burden of maintaining them. So they don't go to the temple with a list that please provide me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever, 10 items. They, whatever comes on its own accord, they just accept it and they are happily situated with that. So whatever happens in their life, they understand that this is perfect arrangement of the Lord.
And what does Krishna do for such devotees? So we saw those, those that amazing quality of those devotees we saw. And I mean, it is just very natural when Krishna will come across such a devotee, how Lord's heart and mind will be attracted towards such a person. So Lord becomes most affectionate to such a person, to such a devotee. This devotee, by his exclusive devotion, constant meditation on the Lord, he draws this affection from the Lord. So the Lord becomes very affectionate, and it is that Lord takes great pleasure in caring for them. So it is that love of the Lord which is expressed. So it is not that that the Lord is forced out of duty. It is not a duty. Like Lord's duty is in that sense that, creation, maintenance, destruction of this universe. Although Lord says that I do it just by my will, and this whole creation, maintenance, destruction cycle happens under my adhyakshta or my supervision. But Lord does that because that living entities desire to enjoy material world. So that's why he does that. So he does that more so out of duty. But taking care of these devotees, his heart goes. He's willingly doing this. And so Lord carries and bears the burden of his devotees' maintenance. So what does he do? Like a head of the family. So head of the family, naturally, out of love and affection, takes care of the wife, of the children, and he takes, very good care to the best of his ability. And in this case, it is the Supreme Lord. So we can understand that, to what ability Lord does that. And Lord does that so that the devotion of the devotee becomes stronger and his devotee's attachment becomes stronger and stronger to the Lord. So Lord assists in that way. He maintains his devotee, and because the devotee has a material body, so the body has to be maintained. So Lord does that out of his affection. So when we see a devotee of this caliber, then we must understand that whatever the devotee possesses, it is not the result of his pious activities. It is the blessings of the Lord upon him, because these exclusive devotees are under the direct protection and the direct care of the Supreme Lord.
Actually, talking about such devotees, and I can't stop thinking about one such wonderful devotee whose description is there in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So his name is Srivas Thakur, and he is a family man. He has wife and children and everything. And he's constantly engaged. Ananyas Chintayanto Mam, like how we read just now. So he's constantly engaged in serving Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and chanting the glories of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, preaching to others. So this is what he constantly does. So once Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asks him that, oh Srivas, how do you maintain your family? What would happen to you and your family? Don't you think about all such things? So Srivas, he did not reply. He just clapped. Not once, not twice, but he clapped 1, 2, and 3. And Mahaprabhu was puzzled that what is this? Why are you clapping? So Srivas Thakur said that if such a day comes that there is no food for my family, I will wait for 1 day. I will wait for 2nd day. I will wait for 3rd day, and if yet the food is not arranged, then I, along with my entire family, we will go and jump in Ganga. So, what he was trying to say is that Krishna, you are the maintainer, or Gaurang Mahaprabhu, you are maintaining my family. And I am sure that I work or I don't work, but my family would be maintained. And if such a time comes, then also I will not complain. Like just now we were reading that they do not complain, whatever comes on its own accord. So he said, if such a time comes, then okay, 3 days we will wait, otherwise we will end our lives. When Gaurang Mahaprabhu heard this, he was so deeply touched by the emotion of this devotee that he said that hereforth I announce that even if a day comes in the history, sorry, not in history, in future, even if such a day comes in future, that Lakshmi, who provides wealth to everybody, even she may have to go, even if the day comes when Lakshmi has to go begging door to door, yet that day will not come when your house or your family members would suffer. So such an amazing reciprocation between the Supreme Lord and his devotee. But the qualification, there is a qualifier, ananyas chintayanto mam, without any devotion, without any distraction, with exclusive devotion, worshipping the Supreme Lord. My merciful master, he supplies what I lack and preserves what I have. So this is one mindset or attitude of a devotee. Lord assures peaceful existence in this life and transfers devotees to the spiritual world in the next life. He's taking care of us now, and he's assuring that we'll go back to him in the spiritual world.
Hari Hari.
येऽपि अन्य देवता भक्ता यजन्ते श्रद्धयान्विताः तेऽपि मामेव कौन्तेय यजन्ति अविधिपूर्वकम्.
So after explaining what his pure and exclusive devotees do, now Krishna is talking about those who do not do that. So he's talking about the other people who do not worship Krishna, or who do not worship Krishna with exclusive devotion. They worship everybody, you know. The house temple is like one supermarket. So everybody is worshipped. So those who are devotees of other gods and who worship them with faith actually worship only me, O son of Kunti. But they do so in a wrong way. So like we say, for example, there are different departments of the government, and one government department I put a lot of value and I assume that this is the best, the military is the best, is the highest, this, that. But then we understand that military also is under the control of the government. And so are so many other departments. So similarly, the devotees of one god or other gods, you know, they are worshipping, the people are worshipping a particular god. They are actually ultimately worshipping the Supreme Lord only, because these gods, they receive their powers, they receive their abilities and the capabilities from the Supreme Lord. So if I am worshipping this, so they are all called vibhutis of the Lord. So there is a vibhuti. So if we are worshipping the vibhuti, but I ignore the Supreme Lord, so then it becomes avidhi purvakam. They are worshipping Krishna, but they are doing so in a wrong way. So here we will see that in India, at least, parliament is there. They make constitutional laws. You know, we have a constitution, and now parliament keeps adding laws to that body. And under those laws is an elected government. We saw recently there were elections in 5 states of India. And what happens? They in turn govern the government servants. And government servants, they control the general population. So elected government, we have the chief minister and the other ministers, and they have the IAS officers, and they have departments and so on and so forth, and they are the ones who are controlling and managing the general population. Similarly, like we have the parliament, which is lawmaking, in nature, in this universe, we have the Supreme Lord, and he makes nature's law. And then similarly, we have a universal government where they are not elected, but they're appointed by the Supreme Lord, depending on their desires and depending on their devotion to the Supreme Lord. So they're appointed as the government heads, like we have Indra, responsible for rain. So there are different departments which these devatas they take care. So devatas are the ones who implement those laws, and all the living beings come under the control of these devatas. Now, if we see this, this arrow. So, for example, there is some licensing body, or for house registration, or for making what is it?
Aadhaar
Ration
card,
card, passport. So there are so many departments, electricity department, water department. So if these people who are working in the government department, we see that if we try to bribe them, if we try to give them separate money, then it is illegal by the government. So if general population tries to bribe the government servants, try to please them separately without caring for the elected government or without caring for the laws, then it is illegal. Similarly, if the people worship devatas, ignoring the Supreme Lord, ignoring the lawmaker, then it is also illegal. That is what Krishna is saying, avidhi purvakam. So we see this child drinking milk. So this milk is going to the stomach, and then what happens? After the milk reaches the stomach, the child is nourished. If the milk reaches anywhere else, there is a problem. But it must reach the stomach, and then this food will nourish the child. Similarly, food is equivalent to worship. So if we worship anybody else, we will not be nourished. If we worship, so this worship, if it reaches the Supreme, then only the Lord is pleased, I am satisfied, and the entire universe is satisfied. So like this child, when this food reaches the stomach, the hand becomes energized, the eyes become energized, we can see the child is blinking, the whole body of the child becomes energized.
And if the food reaches anywhere else or milk reaches anywhere else, then it is avidhi purvakam. So the milk gets over, but the nourishment does not come. So similarly, if we worship devatas, so it is avidhi purvakam.
So if you're doing Krishna consciousness, it is like this child drinking the milk. So you should be very happy about it. Or there is another example that is given in the scriptures, Prabhupada quotes in the purport, is watering the root. The water is not put on the leaf, on the flower, on the seed, on the fruit, but it is poured in the root. So that water is like that worship. And this worship should be directed, water like worship should be directed towards the root, which is the Supreme Lord. Supreme Lord is the root of this universe. He is the root of all the existence, entire existence. So why do the demigods worshippers do not get perfection? Why do they not get perfection? Because they incorrectly worship Krishna. So this is the case with those people who worship devatas and who neglect Krishna. So there is the problem for such personality. When they do not understand that how Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead and all the devatas are actually servants of the Lord. So if such people don't know this and they worship a devata, then it is avidhi purvakam.
Aham hi sarva yajnanam bhokta cha prabhurev cha natu mam abhijananti tatvena taschavanti te. I am the only enjoyer and master of all sacrifices. Therefore, who do not recognize my true transcendental nature fall down. So Krishna here is talking about, he is talking in continuation to the previous verse. So in the previous verse, he said that those who worship devatas, they are actually worshipping Krishna, but it is avidhi purvakam. And why is it avidhi purvakam? The explanation is given here. Because Krishna is the enjoyer. He is the master of sacrifices. But if we are not offering it to him, and if we are offering it to somebody else, so that also shows that we do not understand the position of Krishna. or we are compromising on the position of Krishna, and hence such a person falls down.
Like, for example, the income tax that one has to file every year, if we take that tax amount and give it to somebody else other than the authority, then it is avidhi purvakam. So here, sarva yagyanam bhokta. So actually the word yagya means Vishnu. Yagya means Krishna. And here it is mentioned sarva yagyanam bhokta. So all these sacrifices, the only purpose is to satisfy the bhokta, the enjoyer, the supreme. And Krishna is saying, aham hi sarva yagya nam bhokta. So I am that supreme enjoyer of all the yagyas. Cha Prabhu, I am the master. So this is what Krishna is telling. And because people don't understand these two things, that Krishna is the enjoyer of the sacrifices, the Vedic sacrifices, they don't understand that he is the master of all, and that is why they leave Krishna and worship some other personality.
So why is it the wrong way or avidhi purvakam? Because Krishna is the only enjoyer and Krishna is the master of all sacrifices. So he is clarifying here his stand or his position that he is the bhokta. He is the enjoyer. So ultimately, like for example, if there is a company or if there is a restaurant or if there is any factory, so ultimately the owner enjoys that, the results. So there are so many workers, or there are so many, let's say if it is a restaurant, so there are so many cooks and waiters and cleaners and everybody else who are working, and cashier and supervisor and manager. But ultimately, at the end of the day, the profit goes to the owner. So they get their salary, they get their shares,
Cuts.
they get their cuts, commissions, whatever. But then ultimately the enjoyer is the owner. So similarly, the one who has everything, Krishna is the owner of everything, so he becomes the enjoyer. And Krishna says he is the master of all sacrifices. He has previously also said something similar in 6th chapter when he says, Bhokta Ram Yagya Tapasam Sarva Loka Maheshwaram Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam Gyatva Mam Shantam Richati. That a person who understands that Krishna is the benefactor or the enjoyer of all the sacrifices, and he is the master of even the demigods. So if we understand that, and he is the well-wishing friend who's sitting as Paramatma in each and everyone's heart. So if we know this fact about Krishna, then we can attain transcendental peace. Otherwise, what happens is avidhi purvakam.
That is at the end of 5th chapter.
5.27. 5.27. Yes, 5.27.
So like we saw the child, we saw the watering root. Similarly, we see this universe, we see the unlimited living entities on different planetary systems. So Lord is the predominator of this universe. He is the predominator of all the living entities. Everything within this universe is predominated by the Lord, and the Jiva is predominated. Lord is a predominator. Jiva is predominated.
The perfectional form of human civilization is specifically meant for satisfying Krishna. This is how we perfect our existence, when we work in a manner which is pleasing to Krishna.
Then they actually become humans. There is this now old this saying, no, being human. Salman Khan started being human. So actually, this is what being human means.
Yanti deva vrata devan pitra yanti pitra vrata bhutani yanti bhutejya yanti madhyajinopi mam. So here Krishna is telling that now people may worship devatas. Like in 15th verse, if we remember, in 15th verse Krishna spoke about 3 types of worshippers, and in that the second category was those who worship the demigods. So now here in this section we are listening about that particular category. So here Krishna is telling that yanti deva vrata devan, that those who worship the demigods will take birth among the demigods. Pitran yanti pitravritaha, those who worship the pitras or the ancestors will go to the ancestors. Bhutani yanti bhutejya, so there are people who worship ghosts and spirits. They are these tantric who acquire some siddhis, or who are very well versed with black magic, etc. So they worship ghosts and spirit. And Krishna says such people will go to such people will take birth among such beings. And yanti mad yajino bimam, those who worship me will live with me. So Krishna is giving here a fundamental principle that okay, so if somebody worship, let's say if a person is worshipping Devata, and that person may say ki I worship Devata because that is part of some Puranas or some scripture, some portion it is mentioned, Karma Kanda section, that you should worship Devata. So Krishna is telling yes, and this is also mentioned that if you worship Devata, then you go to Devata. If you worship me, you come to me. So that is also given in the scriptures only. So the same thing Krishna is conclusively telling, that there is a difference. All paths do not lead to Krishna. All paths don't lead to a spiritual world. So the second thing is that if such people worship, let's say Devatas, they go to the planet of Devata. And then Devata themselves are temporary. So when the Devatas span gets over, their span also there gets over, and they come back to the same material world.
And from this also we understand, although not the best, these Devata worshippers, actually they're looking for some temporary benefits. They're looking for benefits related to their body, related to the bodies of others who are connected to them. So they're looking for temporary benefits. So through this, Lord is also inspiring us. Okay, Baba, you are not intelligent. You're not looking for permanently solving your problems. No problem. Even if you're looking for temporary solutions, you worship me only. Don't go here and there. Don't worship others. You worship me. So whether you have no material desire or you have all the material desires, worship Krishna only.
So different type of worship leads to different destination, and the one who worship Krishna will reach Krishna.
So sometimes people think that this black magic or those who are worshipping ghosts and spirits, that is also some kind of a spiritual activity. Actually, it is not spiritual activity. It is a completely materialistic activity. So those who do this, their future is very dark. And those who engage with them also, their future also becomes very, very dark. So unfortunately, people do not have knowledge, and they don't have knowledge of the spiritual world also. So Krishna, that's why Bhagavad Gita is such an important scripture. It gives the knowledge of the spiritual world and gives the process of reaching that spiritual world also.
So getting into the final section of this chapter, glories of devotional service. So now in this particular section, Krishna would emphasize the fact that how Bhakti Yoga is the only way, how it is easy, and how this is the correct choice to make. So this section is to encourage us to make the correct choice. He speaks these final last verses of this chapter, and he is actually pleading to us for our own benefit to become his Ananya Bhakta or exclusive devotee, exclusively worship Krishna. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati tad aham bhakti upahritam ashnami prayatatmanaha. So Krishna, actually he spoke in last to last verse that how he is the only enjoyer. And now here he is telling that being the only enjoyer, the primeval Lord, or the real object of worship, and all the sacrifices should be made to him. Now in this verse he is explaining that what type of sacrifices he require, what to offer him in sacrifice.
So it is so simple. Patram, pushpam, phalam, toyam. So what is he asking? He's saying you can offer me a leaf. Tulsi leaf is the best. You can offer me some flower, some fragrant flower, phalam, some fruit or water. This is all that Krishna is asking. Can you imagine the poorest of poor also have access to this? So this is what Krishna is saying. You can offer this. Very, very simple. My worship is so simple. Devotional service is so simple. But then he is saying, Yo me bhaktya prayachati tadham bhakti uphritam. So the focus of Krishna is not so much on what you are offering. Krishna's focus is how you are offering that. What is your intent? What are you thinking? Why you have given me this fruit? Why you have given me this leaf or water? So that is what Krishna is very interested in. So he's saying if you offer me with love, If you offer it to me with devotion, I will accept. So this is what Krishna is saying. So which means that worshipping Krishna is very easy, and also it means that anyone can perform this simple worship, whether it is somebody is in a male body or a female body, or somebody is of any caste, irrespective of their caste background, irrespective of their religion. So anybody, if they have love and devotion for Krishna, they can offer, and Krishna is saying, I will accept. So it is possible for the poorest of the poor, no qualification is required. But here the point is, those who are abhaktas, those who do not have devotion to Krishna, Krishna doesn't accept. Just to bring this, drive this point home, imagine you went for, somebody invited you and had a really huge spread for lunch. You had welcome drink, and you had 2 starters, and you had 2 dry sabjis, 2 wet gravies, and dal, and paratha, and chapati, and puris, and you had some fragrant rice, and followed by some sweets and some ice cream at the end. And they were very lovingly offered, and you couldn't resist, and you ate quite a bit. Now, after all that is done, you come back home, you do not have space even for a glass of water. So now we can understand the situation if we are in that situation. Krishna is completely full in himself. He has no need. He has no demands. Krishna is completely self-satisfied. So he is not looking for some patram, pushpam, phalam, toyam. He is not looking for all that. He is looking for that love. So therefore that love and devotion becomes so important and critical here. So bhakti is easy, and the only means to approach Krishna. So Krishna is making very, very clear. He explained about karma yoga in the beginning chapters. He described about jnana yoga, and then he described about ashtanga yoga, and then Krishna just guiding us. Okay, actually the best process is bhakti. Take up pure devotional service, because that is what I find very, very attractive. This is what Krishna is speaking in these verses.
Krishna accepts love. Offerings are the medium to express. So for us also, if we give a gift to someone, so generally gift is considered to be an expression of love. If it becomes burden, then it is not really, it loses its value, it loses its significance. So similarly, Krishna also, all what he is looking for is our love or devotion.
So when we are offering something to the deities, many of you are, donating Lakshmi, your hard-earned wealth, you're offering for the pleasure of the Lord. So there are different kinds of people, and they donate for various reasons. So remember, when you're making the donation, check your intent. If it is for pleasing the Lord, for His complete satisfaction, Lord will accept your offering. Sorry. Krishna is not in need of anything from anyone, because he is self-sufficient, and yet he accepts the offering of his devotee in an exchange of love and affection. So if you continue to the end of this session, we will be discussing about a very, very wonderful devotee and his pastimes, which he had with Lord Jagannath. We will see that how the devotee's offering is just an exchange, and Lord's acceptance is an exchange of love and affection with his devotee.
One who loves Krishna will give him whatever he wants and avoids offering anything which is undesirable. So when we are talking about offering, we need to offer those things which Krishna likes, which he wants. So Prabhupada writes there in the purport that is why meat, fish, eggs, etc. should not be offered to Krishna, because these are undesirable offerings. So we need to understand the difference between what can be offered, what cannot be offered. We need to take help of scriptures and the senior devotees who can guide us as what to do and what not to do, and we offer what is desirable.
And if you remember, way back in 3rd chapter, Krishna made a very significant point. He said one should perform sacrifices, one should offer food in sacrifices, and then one should eat the remnants, which means one should eat only prasadam. So those of us who are eating food which is not offered to Krishna, Krishna says that person is eating only sin, even if it is vegetarian food. So that is also very important for us to understand. And when we offer patram pushpam phalam toyam, when we offer this to the Lord with love and devotion, Krishna accepts. So the nature of that patram pushpam phalam toyam, it changes. It no longer remains material because it is influenced, it is affected, it is influenced by the Lord's spiritual potency. It becomes spiritualized. And therefore, even if a non-devotee who has no faith in Krishna, if he eats that prasad, his heart changes. And gradually he also becomes devotee.
Yat karoshi yadashnasi yajjuhoshi dadasi yat yat tapasyasi kaunteya tat kurushva madarpanam. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, and whatever austerities you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering to me. So now this verse, again, it is very significant verse because so far Krishna was talking about broadly two types of devotees. One is exclusive devotion, and second he was talking about the Devata worshipper. So Devata worshipper, he himself classified that is avidhi purvakam, that is not proper. So then we are left with one option, ananya bhakta or exclusive devotion. But the question may arise that it, as of now, with my responsibility, with my family life and other things, probably that is desirable, but it is not possible or feasible as of now. So is there something interim? Is there something in between which I can do till the time I reach to that level? So this is not the perfection verse. This is an interim state verse where till the time we attain that state of constant devotion and meditation on Krishna, what can I do? So here Krishna is saying, yad karoshi, जो भी हम काम करते हैं, कर्म, whatever you do, yad ashnasi, yad juhoshi, dadasi, yad means 4 parameters he's talking here, that whatever work you do, whatever you are eating, whatever you offer in sacrifice or charity, and whatever austerities you are performing, everything, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering to me. So if one is not able to follow Satatam, Nityam, and Ananya Bhakti, so what such a person, what can he eat? At least he can eat prasadam, which means that whatever he is eating, at least he offers it to Krishna and then he eats that. So yes, so Krishna is not saying stop eating completely. So what he is saying is, whatever you eat, you offer it to me. What to offer? Again, there are certain restrictions. So which means that we are essentially eating only those things which Krishna eats. Then second, what you do. So whatever religious duties you are performing, you perform that for me. You don't do for others. That religious duties, at least what you are doing, you do for Krishna. Then whatever you are giving away in sacrifices, in charity, utilize it for Krishna conscious purposes. So there are so many services available. Like for example, currently at ISKCON Chennai, we are painting the entire temple. There is a lot of cracks and other things have come in the temple. So those cracks are getting repaired and the whole temple is getting painted. And I think budget is around 22 lakh is the budget just for painting the temple.
It's a huge temple. It's a huge, very, very huge building. So that much is required.
So now the question may arise, where do we get that money from? So we get that money from people like us. So whatever is our income, we take care of our family necessities, but simultaneously we must have a budget for charity also. Because charity purifies the income. So we must have a budget for charity and we must utilize that charity for Krishna conscious causes, where our money, whatever is our hard-earned money, is utilized in serving or pleasing the Supreme Lord. So Krishna is saying what you give away in sacrifice or charity, utilize for Krishna conscious use, and then what austerities you perform. So as of now, one very big austerity for all of us could be joining us every morning 6 a.m. for the japa session. So we sit at one place 2 hours, we chant 16 rounds of Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, mind thinking only about Krishna, ears engaged in hearing his holy names, tongue vibrating the sound of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and this is how we meditate on Krishna. So if I'm not able to chant 24 hours, let me do that much austerity, at least 2 hours in the morning, sitting and chanting at one place.
Shubha Shubha Falairevam Mokshase Karma Bandhanai Sannyasa Yoga Yuktatma Vimukto Mamopashyasi. In this way, you will be freed from bondage to work and its auspicious and inauspicious results. With your mind fixed on me, in this principle of renunciation, you will be liberated and come to me. So in the previous verse, the 27th verse, we saw the principle of renunciation. What work I do, I offer the results to Krishna. What I eat, first I offer it to Krishna. So we saw that what austerities I do, what charity I give, what sacrifice I perform, I do all of that thinking of Krishna for his pleasure. I engage it in Krishna's service. So that is the principle of renunciation. So even if I am a grahastha, I am married with children, I have a husband, I have a wife, I have my parents to take care, I can still perform sannyas yoga. I can still be situated in this principle of renunciation called yukta vairagya, where I use all resources at my disposal in Krishna's service. And then what happens? Yuktatma. So Atma refers to, depending on the context, it may refer to the soul, it may refer to the super soul, it may refer to the mind. With your mind fixed on me. So this is what Krishna is saying. So if you are performing this principle, you're following this principle, renunciation, mind is fixed on me, then what happens? Shubha, Ashubha, Falair evam, Moksha se karma bandhanai. So whether there is auspicious result or inauspicious result. In the past, we have done so many, I don't know what you have done, pious activities or impious activities. So based on pious activities, you will get pious, auspicious results, and impious activities, you get inauspicious results. So all the auspicious, inauspicious results that are there, which are bounding us, the results of our previous work, moksha se karma bandhanai. If you are situated in these two principles, my mind is absorbed, fixed on Krishna, and I follow this principle of renunciation, then Krishna is saying, Vimukto Mam Upaishyasi. You will be liberated, you will come to me. So this is Yukta Vairagya. Yukta means act in Krishna consciousness under superior guidance. And Yukta Vairagya means that the actions are performed and the fruits are given to the Lord. So this is how one should perform while living in this material world. At the same time, so these are how we have to perform the activities towards the body. The duties towards the body, we have to do them with the principle of Yukta Vairagya.
Actually, in today's session, some of these slides are, Krishna's pictures are so beautiful that I don't feel like changing the slide.
We'll go back.
And just look at him like wow, like all attractive.
Krishna is all attractive. So the summary, so when somebody is performing this sannyas yoga, the way Krishna has explained that you do everything, whatever you do, offer it to me. Whatever you want to do, offer it to me. So if one starts doing that, what happens is it clears the mind. The mirror of the mind gets cleared. The mind becomes more and more clean. How is this mirror dirty? How is this mirror dirty? The mirror covered with dust cannot see yourself. So you'll have to clean it to see yourself. What is that dirt? That dirt is that everything in this universe, everything which is connected to me, which I can see, which I can perceive, is for my enjoyment. But now if I begin to offer everything to Krishna, if I see whatever I can, I should give it to the Lord, and the dust is naturally dusted off the mind. So it brings in the cleansing of the mind. Naturally, we make good progress. Gradual, by the grace of Lord Chaitanya, we make quick progress. Chant Hare Krishna in the morning, perform your duties, keeping Krishna in mind, offer the results to Krishna. You'll make quick progress. By Lord's grace, in our Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's process is quick. It is not gradual. Gradual means birth after birth after birth. Quick process. Prabhupada says you become Krishna consciousness in life and go back to the spiritual world in one lifetime. This is what Prabhupada says, which is unheard of in Vedic literature. So one makes that and then completely surrenders to Krishna. The point will come when you will realize that there is nothing beyond the Supreme Lord. And again, if you stay with us to the end of this session, we have the amazing...
Please stay.
Please stay. So we have an amazing example of a devotee of Lord Jagannath. And finally, one gains liberation and goes to the place, goes to the land where every step is a dance, every word is a song.
Samoham sarvabhuteshu na me dveshyosti na priyaha ye bhajanti tu mam bhaktya maiteshu chapyaham. So now question may arise or the doubt may arise that okay, so Krishna is telling that if a person worships Krishna either with exclusive devotion or at least yat karoshi yadashnasi, means whatever he is doing, he is offering all the results to Krishna. So if I do everything for Krishna or I do some things for Krishna, then Krishna is telling you can come back to me. But those who are not doing these things, and Krishna is not taking care of them. But then Krishna, he is the supreme master. So he is the master of those people also. Even if those people don't serve him, still he is the master and he should protect them. He should take care of them. Otherwise, Lord is partial. So before that doubt arises, Krishna is clarifying, I envy no one, nor I am partial to anyone. So don't think that I am partial to my devotees. I am equal to all. But whoever renders services unto me in devotion is a friend, is in me, and I am also a friend to him. So Krishna is saying that it is very, very natural. Like if somebody is serving me, if somebody is like my friend, if somebody is favorable to me, then I automatically reciprocate that way. So if you act in a certain way, that is how I reciprocate. But please don't think that I am envious of someone. Those people who do not worship me, it is not that I am envious of them. It is not that I am impartial to them. To them, whatever they do, they get it back. So the, what was that? Shubha, Ashubha, Falair. So they get auspicious and inauspicious result based on that. So is Lord partial? Lord is equal to all as a creator and maintainer. He has created this whole world for them also. Or he is maintaining them.
For them only he is creating. Devotees will go back to Krishna.
And he is maintaining them also. So he is maintaining them. He is providing food. He is providing fresh air. He is providing so many things for them. One gets different bodies based on karma and desire. So what do I want? Do I want to serve Krishna? No. Then Krishna also does not want our service if we don't want to serve Krishna. And then we become a victim of our own desires. So Krishna has a natural affection towards his devotees. Lord is impartial like a rain cloud, nourishing everyone. To the degree I surrender, to that degree I get nourished. So the rain is same, but whether my heart is a fertile land or my heart is a barren land. So that depends on me, not on the rain.
So if it's a fertile land and a devotee comes and sows the seed of bhakti and I surrender to the Lord, then the rain of His mercy will come and that bhakti seed will sprout and become a very strong creeper and reach the lotus feet of the Lord.
Declare your dependency on the Supreme and this way become a recipient of Krishna's favor.
This is very nice. We see that sparkling diamond set in a gold ring. So very beautiful analogy. Lord and his devotee are like diamond and gold. The living entity eternally glitters as he accepts to serve the Supreme Lord. So that gold ring is like the devotee which is holding this most precious diamond. So as I informed in the beginning of this session that because we have quite a few verses and each of this verse requires elaborate explanation, so I request this session is a little extended. Please bear with us and continue to attend.
अपि चेत् सुदुराचारो भजते मामनन्यभाक् साधुरेव समन्तव्यः सम्यग् व्यवस्थितो हि सः.
Even if one commits the most abominable action, if he is engaged in devotional service, he is to be considered saintly. Sadhureva, because he is properly situated in his determination. So another very important verse. So there is this person who's trying his best. He is offering everything to Krishna. He's in the process of purification. Material desires are getting washed from his heart. But sometimes some error, some mistake, some accident happens. And he commits an act which by society standards is considered immoral. It is considered wrong. It is considered most abominable action. Api chet suduracharo. Not only durachar, he is sudurachar. Very, very bad activity he does. So what will happen? All these non-believers, non-devotees, they will call him, hey, see, this is his real color. This is what we have been always, he's a cheater, he's this. But what is the Lord's view of this? Lord is saying, if my devotee, despite whatever mistake has happened, some accident has happened in his life, some bad activity has done by mistake, bhajate mam ananya bhag, but if still determinedly he is engaged in devotional service, he is constantly engaged in devotional service, accepting his mistake and error. Krishna is saying, he is my devotee, sadhu reva. He should be considered saintly and nobody should criticize him. So this is what Krishna is explaining here. So Krishna excuses and purifies that imperfect devotee. Can we imagine the affection of the Lord, the love of the Lord for devotees? So this devotee, so let's understand, this most abominable person, he has committed some activity, not person. He has committed some very bad activity. But what is Krishna looking for? This is called positive attitude. We talk about so many classes on positive attitude, how we develop positive. Learn from Krishna. This person has done very bad activity. But what is Krishna saying? He surrendered to me alone. Oh, I must protect him. He's fixed in his determination to do bhakti. This mistake is accidental. He is a devotee. He is my devotee irrespective of what he has done.
A temporary fall down or an accidental mistake does not disqualify the devotee. So this is a very important lesson for us because we start judging people. So it is not for us ki, okay, we start committing mistakes, but it is for us that if we notice that somebody has an accidental fall down or some mistake, we forgive, we accept him because he is not disqualified. And the qualification, so what is a qualifier attached? Like that asterisk, terms and conditions apply. So the asterisk is unflinchingly and exclusively engaged in Krishna's devotional service. So this person is not worshipping too many people. He is very, very clear about the supreme position of Krishna and he worships Krishna alone.
And look at this, this, we talk about positive attitude. That was Lord's positive attitude. And here we have the positive attitude of this devotee. He understands that I have done this wrong. He still does not leave the lotus feet of the Lord. He continues with his devotional service.
Yeah, and in fact, he thinks like this, that I will go to hell for all my sinful actions, which are hard to give up. But I will not give up dedicated worship of Krishna. So he understands that yes, there is some mistake what I have done and I am attached to it. And Krishna also sees that, okay, he is my devotee and he is very naturally attached to the devotee. So Krishna wants to help such a person. And when Krishna sees that such a person has been doing something wrong or something sinful, so Krishna thinks that he is still my devotee and somehow or other I must help him to come to the highest standard. So even if he has made the mistake, even because of his attachment to certain thing, like for example, when we come to a spiritual preaching institute like ISKCON, and then we acquire this knowledge that what is favorable for my bhakti and what is unfavorable. So if there is some element to which I am so attached, and we get to know that it is not really favorable, like for example, when we get to know that onion and garlic, Krishna does not eat onion garlic, and then we start contemplating our situation and we start thinking that, oh, everybody eats in my family, and where I work at workplace also it is required. So I understand that it is wrong, but I'm not able to come up with a plan of giving it up completely. So something like that, that because of the situation, because of the past conditioning or whatever, I may be attached to a sinful action, but simultaneously, I have no doubt about the supremacy of Krishna. And I have no doubt about my surrender to Krishna. So that is this person.
So, word of caution is important. No one should take advantage of this verse and commit nonsense and think that he is still a devotee. So, please mind this point that this is an accident. It is an unintentional mistake that this person has done. It is not intended. So this verse, this only refers to an accident due to the strong power of material connections.
So we'll continue for another 10 minutes. Hopefully we will complete the verses from this section. Kshipram bhavati dharmatma shashvat chantim nigacchati kaunteya pratijanihi name bhaktah pranashyati. This is one of the very, very hope-giving verse. Krishna is saying here, Krishna is telling, declare it boldly, O Arjuna, that my devotee never perishes. Na me bhaktah pranashyati. Ek baar bhakti mein aa gaye, once you have become a devotee, Krishna will take care. Deen bandhu dinanath, meri dori tere haath. Now you take control because I don't know how to control. So Krishna is telling, Kshipram bhavati dharmatma. Shashvat Chantim Nigachati. He's saying that he quickly becomes righteous. Who quickly becomes righteous? Verse number 30. The most abominable act. Somebody who's a sinner, someone who has done most abominable act. Such a person quickly become righteous and attain lasting peace. Why is he attaining all these things? Because he has unalloyed devotion towards Krishna, no mixing up. So how can Krishna accept the worship of such sinful person? So first thing is, such a devotee, if he does something wrong, then he repents sincerely. He knows within his heart, like few months back, I received an email from a devotee who admitted that because of his friend's association and something, he consumed alcohol, and then he was repenting that, my God, this is such a big thing, like why did I do that, how I could not control. So such people, they start repenting seriously, and then how do they atone? The atonement is by the process of devotional service, navavidhi bhakti. So chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is the best atonement. In fact, if we read Chaitanya Charitamrita, there we see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself telling that if you want to do prayashit, you should chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So
but
no
one should
need
not
of
commit sinful activity in the strength of the holy name. That is an offense. So those of you who join by 5:50, we go through the 10 offenses that we must avoid against the chanting of the holy name. And there, one of the offenses is that one must not commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name. Okay, great, I have chanted holy name now. No, I can commit some sin because holy name will save me. So not with that intent.
So no need of a separate prayashchit, and just by engaging in the 9 processes of devotional service, one quickly becomes righteous and purified. And then at the end, Krishna tells Arjun that, Arjun, you declare it boldly that my devotee would never perish, because I never let my devotee's promise go in vain. So if you would promise, I'll definitely keep your words. And here we see in that picture also the beautiful pastime where Krishna actually lifted a wheel because he wanted to save his devotee Arjun. So though Krishna had
And
taken a
also
vow,
respect the, yeah.
so though Krishna had taken a vow that he would not lift any weapon during the battle, and yet to save Arjun and to save Bhishma from embarrassment, he actually lifts that wheel. So he breaks his promise to keep the promise of his devotee.
So, a beautiful life lesson. The process of devotional service is always a success. Whether we are perfect, whether we are imperfect, in either case, kaunteya pratijanihi name bhaktah pranashyati.
Continuous chanting Hare Krishna will protect a devotee from accidental fall down.
Umbrella. So always is protection of the Lord. O son of Pritha, those who take shelter of me, though they may be of low birth, women, Vaishya, merchants, and Shudras, workers, can attain the supreme destination. How much more this is so of the righteous Brahmanas, the devotees, and the saintly kings. Therefore, having come to this temporary, miserable world, engage in loving service unto me. So this is Krishna saying all you have to do is, we are in this temporary material world which is miserable, which is dukhalayam, it is ashashvatam. All we have to do is engage in loving devotional service unto me. So this is what Krishna is saying. Anyone can attain the supreme destination. Bhakti requires no qualification and bhakti makes no distinction. And that is where we come to this beautiful pastime of a very, very simple devotee. His name was Dasya Bauri. He was staying very close to Jagannath Puri in a village, and he was engaged in weaving cloth. He was born in a very low caste. So everybody, that time there was a lot of caste-based distinction. So he was born in a very, very low caste. So this person was a very simple-hearted person. And during festival times, there will be a lot of devotees organizing programs. So he will attend the Nam Sankirtan festival where the chanting of the holy name is going on. He will also attend programs where there are great learned scholars talking from the Puranas, from the Vedas. So one thing which Dasya Bauri understood is that philosophy is difficult for me, but I understand that Supreme Lord is there. I understand that by chanting his holy names, I can cross over this cycle of material birth and death. This is a place of misery, and the only way of salvation is by chanting the Lord's holy name. So he understood that much by attending those spiritual programs. So what he would do, he had great faith in the Lord, and he chanted these holy names with great faith. So one time he noticed that from his village, so many people were going to attend the Jagannath Rath Yatra. So he decided, wow, it is very nice. I will also go and attend with them. So along with them, he started traveling towards Jagannath Puri. And from a distance, he saw the beautiful, majestic form, the glowing form of Lord Jagannath ride on the chariot. And when he saw that form of Jagannath and he saw those eyes, he saw those red lips and that beautiful smile, and he saw those white circles and those black eyeballs of the Lord. He got so attracted. His body began to shiver. The tears began to fall down from his eyes, and he offered his obeisance and he said, now I have met the Lord of my heart. So this was his first Rath Yatra, and he became so ecstatic and he was so happy. And then when he came back, because he had came back from a pilgrimage, so wife should have served him nicely, but of course they were very, very poor. So what she could offer him that day was a thin, watery rice porridge and some kirei or some sag. So that white, liquidy white porridge was there, and in the middle she put the sag. So when Dasya Bauri, because he saw the Lord, he saw the beautiful eyes of the Lord, and when he came back and he saw the plate and that white circle and that green, he remembered Lord's eye, and he said, no, I cannot eat this, I cannot eat this. The wife freaked out. What happened? Somebody did black magic. What happened to this fellow? So she called the other the other members of that village, what happened to my husband? So finally they calmed him down and asked, what happened? He said, no, I cannot eat Jagannath Sai. Oh, then they understood. Oh, so that is the time they understood the great devotion which arose in the heart of Dasya Bori, and they renamed him. They named him Baligaon Das. So Baligaon, that was the name of the village, Bali, and so he Baligaon Das. So this is what they renamed him, and this is the actual. They made a deity of his, and this is called. I think it is called Baligaon Das Peet or Dasya Bori Peet, something like that. It is there near Jagannath Puri. So, because after he returned from Jagannath Puri, from that Rath Yatra, he could not forget the Lord. He would constantly, he was absorbed in that beautiful darshan. He was always chanting Jagannath's name, and he was in great bliss. Now we see there is nothing much which has changed in his social standing. There's nothing much change in his financial standing. He was very, very poor. They would weave the cloth, they will sell it. Whatever income they will receive, that's how they will running the family. Very poor. So nothing had changed. But his devotion, it went to a completely new platform. So one time, because Dasya Bori always felt, Baligaon Das, he always felt that he is very from a low caste and how he can approach the Lord. So he very humble and humility he had. So Lord appeared to him in his dream. He said, do not think like this. Your devotion is very, very attractive to me. Your devotion is supreme to me. And I don't make such distinctions. So this is what Lord told him. And he said, Lord asked him, so Dasya Bori, what benediction you like from me? So he said, no, I don't want anything. Now imagine Lord is giving darshan. He's asking him, what do you want? So he could have asked for anything. So what he said, Lord, I don't want anything, but I want to have your darshan. So please give me darshan. And let my mind be absorbed in you. So I can always think of you, I can chant your names. And he said, and Lord, one more thing. Whenever I offer you something, you please accept it personally. Please accept it with your hands. So Lord said, Tathastu. So be it. I'll grant you these benedictions. So he continued to weave a cloth. So he had woven a cloth and then he went into the village for selling it. And there was this Brahmana to whom he was showing this cloth. And while showing this cloth to the Brahmana, Dasya Bori's eye went to a coconut tree and there was a very nice, big, ripe coconut. The moment he saw coconut, he developed his, I must offer this to Jagannath. So he asked, I want to barter this cloth for coconut. So now this Brahmana was a little greedy person. So he said, this coconut, I can give you only one for this cloth. So of course it was not a fair trade. But this Dasya Bori was so much in his having ecstatic feelings for the Lord that he said, yes, give me. So what he did was, he went back, he took bath, purified himself, came and he received that coconut. After he received the coconut, so he saw that there is another Brahmana who was going to Jagannath Puri with offerings. So he was carrying some bananas, he was carrying some mangoes and some other fruits he was carrying. So he told this Brahmana that you please, I have a humble request. You're taking all these offerings for the Lord. So after you have done your offering, kindly offer this coconut also to the Lord. And tell the Lord that your servant Dasya Bori has sent this coconut. If the Lord accepts this coconut with his own hand, then you give him. Otherwise, you bring it back. So this Brahmana thought, mad fellow. Lord will accept the coconut with his own hand. So he took it, but he understood that, I'll be bringing back this coconut. So this Brahmana went and he took all the offerings and those offerings were taken by the Pandas and it was offered to Jagannath. After offering was done and he was getting up, then he remembered, Dasya Bori had sent a coconut. So if those of us who have visited Jagannath Puri temple, we see that right in front of Jagannath on the other end, just outside, just in front of the door of Bhog Mandap, there is Garudistham. So standing there, this Brahmana, he said, Oh Lord, Dasya Bori has sent this coconut. Please accept with your own hand. And in front of his eyes, a glowing white hand came, took the coconut. So this Brahmana, when he was making that prayer to the Lord, he was in a very light-hearted manner. He has asked me, so let me just do it. But after that, he was stunned. And after this incident, the devotion of Dasya became a devotional hero in the whole area. Everybody understood, oh, how great this devotee is. But still, some of the sevayats of the Jagannath temple, they did not really care much about him. So there was another incident. So one time he brought many ripe mangoes. So a lot of ripe mangoes he brought, and he was in front of the Simhadwar, that is the eastern gate of Jagannath temple. So he kept the basket full of ripe mangoes, and so many pandas got together and they said, I will offer this, and the other one said, no, I will offer this, and there's some argument ensued. So then Dasya Bori said, no, nothing doing, I will offer. Then they were like, how he can offer. So anyway, he took all the mangoes inside the temple. And if we go inside the temple, there is a place from where we can see the Nila Chakra, or the Sudarshan Chakra of the Lord, which is on the top of the temple. So Lord and his paraphernalia are non-different. So he looked at the Nila Chakra and he offered the mango to the Lord. Please take. And that time these pandas were standing and there were some visitors also there. This all is recorded officially by the government of Odisha. They have an official magazine in which all these pastimes are printed. So he offered this mango and the mango disappeared. Then he picked up another mango from the basket he offered and it disappeared. And in front of those pandas, these mangoes were disappearing and the basket became empty. And after that question came, where are the mangoes going? What is happening to the mangoes? So Dasya Bori said, Jagannath is eating. So some of these pandas, they rushed into the altar, which is quite a distance from there, and they saw that next to the Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra, these skins of the eaten mangoes, eaten the skins, the peels, and the seeds were all strewn in the altar. Now everybody accepted the greatness and the devotion of Dasya Bori. So with that, we understand that what Krishna has been stating here, that Krishna accepts patram pushpam phalam toyam, which is offered with love and with devotion. So anyone can attain the supreme destination. No qualifications required for bhakti. It doesn't make distinction. Otherwise, we remain in anityam asukham lokam. And if we perform bhakti, then we get delivered from this anityam asukham lokam.
Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vaishyasi
utvaivam atmanam matparayana.
Engage your mind always in thinking of me. Become my devotee. Offer obeisances to me and worship me. Being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me. So now Krishna is giving his final verdict. He's telling 4 things here. Essence of all worship. First is always think of Krishna. So how can I always think of Krishna? When I am in association of devotees, where others are also reminding me of Krishna, or where I am discussing some Krishna Katha from the scriptures. So this is how I always think of Krishna. Become Krishna's devotee. So what does the devotee do? So the devotee worships Krishna at home, performs arati and performs offerings. So become Krishna's devotee. Offer obeisances to me. Do pranams to Krishna and worship Krishna. So if we are doing all these 4 things, then this is the essence of all, worshipping Krishna. And this particular verse, essence of Bhagavad Gita, it is giving us the essence of Bhagavad Gita. It comes right in the center of Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna is appealing to all of us to become a devotee.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So with this, we have completed 9 chapters of Bhagavad Gita. Next week is a very, very special day. It is the appearance day of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We would be celebrating Gaur Purnima festival on the coming Friday. We all invite you to personally come and visit ISKCON Chennai. If you are from Chennai, if you are from any other place, please visit your local ISKCON centers, because in all these ISKCON centers, we celebrate this festival with great
Devotion.
devotion. With great devotion, yes. Also, to participate for this festival, if you want to give any donation, it is welcome, and we have the donation link at our website studygita.com/donate us. So you can visit there and you can make the donations for the upcoming festival. So next week we will not be having a session because we are celebrating Gaur Purnima, plus you will have assignments to complete for this module. Next to next week we will meet when we will be starting chapter number 10. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.